back to another episode of Continuously Refined.
I'm Shayna.
And I'm Cicely.
And we have such an exciting episode for you today because our good friend Cailyr is here with us to share a little bit about her story. So, hi Cailyr.
Hey guys, how are you?
So I met Cailyr at the end of freshman year, and then we really began to flourish within our friendship sophomore year when we were doing Young Life Bible study together, and that's kind of when she met Sis. And Cailyr has just been such an amazing friend, a sweet soul. We love talking all things health and wellness and corporate life and business America, as she is also a business major with us. But she's just here today to kind of talk us through her journey and really focusing on stomach and gut health, give us some good insight on where she's been and the different life changes that she has been making to kind of combat these issues. So we are so excited to have you on today, Kai.
Oh, guys, I'm so happy to be here. This is such a long time coming. I know, we're so excited. So if you want to kind of kick it off, Cailyr, with just kind of explaining maybe high school or when you started to notice just things changing with your health and you were just getting more concerned or you started to have more issues with it.
Yeah, I'll do my best to give y'all the skinny and then you can just pick it apart as you need to. But yeah, high school is an interesting time. I think there's a lot of factors, a lot of stressors, and I think, as you all know, stress is such a big part of gut health. But I started noticing, I remember this is kind of similar to your story, Sis, but just always feeling uncomfortable after I ate, maybe starting sophomore year, junior year of high school. And thinking that was just normal because it's oh, you're digesting, whatever. And automatically assuming it's just me being lactose intolerant because that's everyone's first guess.
That's what they say.
Literally everyone, they're oh, you should just cut out dairy. Why is that everyone's first answer?
Yeah.
But so I started being lactose intolerant, ish, in the way of I would be lactose intolerant, but then someone would have a good sweet treat and I'd be I'm not really lactose intolerant. So I say that in quotes. I didn't really follow it too well. And I also think another part of it was relationship with food was super weird. I think throughout high school I was in a bunch of different friend groups that honestly all kind of struggled with eating disorders and disordered eating patterns, and so I think it was super weird. We were all just kind of we're in pain and mentally and physically, but I don't really know, I just think there were so many other factors involved. So anyway, started being lactose intolerant, and then assuming that was just gonna fix it. It never did, but I was at least I'm doing one thing, I don't know. And then was okay, maybe I'll do gluten too. So I worked at a summer camp, a Young Life summer camp, for 3 weeks right after graduation, senior year, before going into college. And I said, claimed my dietary restrictions as gluten-free, dairy-free, but came back from camp so inflamed and in so much pain, which is such a bummer because it was the best experience of my life. But just felt so uncomfortable the whole time, and it made me, it was one of those light bulb back of your mind things where it's maybe it's not gluten and dairy, right? Because if I wasn't eating gluten and dairy that whole time, what was making me feel like that?
What else?
Yeah, there's more here. So
literally, yeah, it had to be. And so I continued the gluten and dairy free thing through freshman year of college, and just still felt uncomfortable, bloated. And I think there was once again a lot of other factors. I didn't always follow it. I think I was drinking more than I care to admit. And I also think when you drink, there's the drunk food, also eating at 2 a.m. and eating foods that I shouldn't be eating also at 2 a.m. Just crazy perfect storm.
Throw it all together.
Literally. And then the stress of I only moved from 3 hours away, but you're in a completely new city. I came into school wanting to be a fertility specialist, be a doctor. 3 weeks into school was just kidding. And so then my entire life plan that I had in front of me, so just so much stress that so much change and stress.
And also the environment that you were in. Everyone was
Yeah.
doing this 2 to 3 days a week.
Yeah.
We're going out, we're drinking, you're eating toppers.
Seriously.
That's just the normal thing to do, and so why does it affect you differently?
And I think that was just such an indicator to me there was something else going on. Also it was so isolating too though, because I was telling Cicely this literally until I met Cicely, I don't think I ever had someone talk to me about more than having a stomach ache ever being I have stomach problems, because everyone around me was doing that. I didn't hear anyone talking about it. I was what is wrong with me that I'm in so much pain, I'm so uncomfortable, I'm so insecure, and it feels everyone else can live this lifestyle and be fine. So that was really hard too. And I started, I think maybe it was right after we got back from Christmas break freshman year, but I started having stabbing pains. It went from just being bloating and gas. I literally remember I had one of my friends almost like bakery roll my stomach, but like with like a curling iron, because I was like, I need like this gas, like get out, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like hard bloating, and it was so weird. And I would wake up, and I'm like a heavy sleeper, and I would wake up like with shooting pains and be like, what is happening? Got to a point where I was like gained so much weight. Like I think I probably gained like 25 pounds. Like so many, I don't know. I just like I've never had that much weight gain in such a small period of time.
Yeah.
And like I wasn't going that crazy. Like, something else is going on very clearly. And so like, I don't know, by God's grace, like honestly think like, even though that was such a period of like darkness and pain, like so classic him, but like used it for good in the way of like, I was like, hey, you know what? Like I feel too insecure in my clothes. Like I'm not going out. But then I stopped drinking. Yeah. And I think that was really good because I might think my stomach needed a break from that like additional stressor of alcohol. Yeah. Which like disclaimer, like I love a good drink here and there. Like,
we love a good spicy marg.
No, like how can you not? Heat on the room, like please. But I think like that is one of the things that is like a first thing to consider taking out, because it's like automatically inflammatory. And so like, I mean, get to this, but like I'm currently not drinking, and like that's a big reason why. And so anyways, all of that, I like ordered this stool test to this company called Viome, which I also just recently ordered again to reassess your microbiome. Yeah. And so you like submit a stool sample, humbling. Let me
so humbling. Guys, no one thought it. Oh my gosh, it's such a humbling moment.
None of the girls are talking about poop, but it's a big thing. I'm just gonna say that right now. Yeah, that another disclaimer, a huge part of my story, so buckle in. But I had to do that in the communal bathroom. Oh gosh. And then, and then so you do that, and then they can like analyze your microbiome, and it's like an app that's connected, and you fill out these like questionnaires that like are also how's your sleep, how's your stress, how's your skin, how's your oral health, like all these things that I would have never considered to be part of it. Also another thing during this time would be like I would go to class and have to come back and take like a 2-hour nap every day. So I was so fatigued, exhausted, and so much pain, like all these different things. And so it kind of laid out some foods that would be helpful to like remove, and it said that I can't remember the names of the bacteria. I'm like, I think it was Candida.
Yes. Yeah. Candida overgrowth.
Yes, I had a Candida overgrowth, and then it was like speculating that I could have also had strep. Like there was a couple of different kinds of like bacteria that were fighting, negative bacteria that were fighting my stomach. And so I think what I'm doing now is I'm working with a doctor to like review that and understand what it means. Yep. At the time I was doing my best, but I didn't understand what any of it means. It was just like, okay, well now I'm going to cut out these foods. Didn't really explain what was wrong.
Yeah. So you took the stool test on your own, not with a doctor or anything?
Yeah, because my sister struggled with like SIBO. I don't know if you'll know what that is, but in college, and she was like, I did this, it was really helpful just to like take out foods that are hurtful. So did that, and was just kind of like had summer plans. I was going to work at camp again, and I was like, you know what, I really can't go into that environment again. So decided to take the summer off, really just like focus on my health. So at the end of freshman year, took that summer off, like just worked at a coffee shop, spent a lot of time with me, which I think was also really good. There's so many other factors that go into health, right? But like I think nurturing my relationship with myself and with God and like all these different things really helped me like focus on my health. My dad ended up doing this like metabolism reset program, which like for him worked so awesomely. I initially had a little bit of like a I don't really know if that's for me thing, because once again, he's a 50-year-old man and we're 20-year-old women. And there's like, to his best effort, like nothing against him, but I think that there was like some hormonal things I was curious about. But it was so desperate that I was like, okay, like I'll try it. And so it definitely wasn't the fix, but was really cool because I basically just ate like fruit, vegetable, and protein for like 2 months. Wow. Which wasn't the best mentally, but I will say I think like it removed a lot of inflammatory things that just like naturally make it worse. So I was able to kind of like strip it down.
When you just strip it down to like the basis of whole foods, natural foods that your body was made to digest. Right. And that's a whole nother.
Yeah. And so like trying to just veer away from like, okay, don't do packaged, don't do drinking. Let's just like chill out for a little bit. So like felt not like it was solved, but like definitely felt a lot less agitated and stuff coming into sophomore year. Good. Sophomore year lived in my sorority house, shout out. And and that was great because literally go Kappa. But I had a kitchen for the first time. Yes. And that's something else to note is like, even though we have an awesome school that has like a dietary friendly like place that a lot of places don't have, there's still some more harmful things in that food. That especially if you have a weak gut lining, like isn't really helpful. And so I was really grateful to have a place that I could cook. I decided to kind of remove meats that are harder to digest, which is so funny because I'm all opposite of that spectrum now. But I was just eating like
meats as in
like red meat for the most part, because you know it's like harder to break down if you don't have like the right kind of stomach acid or whatever. And so I literally was pescatarian for like 6 months. I only ate fish, lots of salmon.
Sophomore year.
Yeah, sophomore year. And then I slowly started reintroducing like turkey and chicken just as like easier to digest than red meat at the time. And that was great. I loved it. At the same time, I was trying to get like off my meal plan because I wasn't using it.
Yeah.
And I only mentioned that because I think it was like one of the most like invalidating, like fear infuriating experiences.
I tried to do the same thing.
It was so frustrating because I went there and, you know, without being way too vulnerable, try to like share with them what I was
You
experiencing.
just sit in there and explain everything.
And then to have some person who sits in administration and be like, hey, this isn't valid unless you get a signed letter from a GI. And I was like, okay, but I've gone and seen functional medicine doctors. I've grown up with chiropractic parents. Both of my parents are chiropractors that are very into holistic health. Like I was a kid drinking rice milk and sparkling water. Like, you know, like we've been on it for a little bit. And I was like, I understand when something is wrong with my body, and I understand that this environment is not suiting that. So I just like would like a way out.
Yeah.
Anyways, I mentioned that just because I think it was so frustrating. And once again, to like the isolating aspect, like there is no one talking about it.
Right.
No. Let's let someone on this board of directors at our school who knows nothing about health tell me what is valid and what I can eat or not.
Yeah. So crazy. And I submitted a letter from the doctor of chiropractic who like specializes in functional medicine, whatever, to them, and they literally like crossed through it and was like, this is not valid.
Mine as well. They were like, no.
They said that to me as well, because they were like, you have a chiropractor technically, not like a doctor, and so they were like, it doesn't
also
count.
Like how disrespectful, but anyways.
We could go on a rant.
Anyways, so that was sophomore year. And then summer after sophomore year, I had the most fun, crazy, adventurous summer of my entire life, which was epic, and I would never take back a single second of it. However, the inconsistency that came with like being in Europe for 3 weeks and drinking so much than I had been drinking the past year. So I was like really just taking a break as much as I could my sophomore year. I think I drank like twice, like really just like cutting it out. And so the summer was awesome, but like going from that, I lived in Hawaii for a little bit, which like in your head you're like, oh, smoothie bowls, like this is awesome, but it's like rice and spam, like that's the reality of it. And like once again, awesome experiences, but just so inconsistent and hard. Worked at camp again, alas, like you know. So I think moving into a house junior year was so awesome, and like once again being able to cook and not have any restraints from having a meal plan or anything like that. Really getting to cater my movement too, to something to be more attainable. I think trying to focus less, like, which has been another whole like mental battle, but focus less on like the results of your workout and really like the purpose of it.
I like that.
Yeah, and just understanding, okay, like why am I moving? I'm moving because like my body digests things better, like my bowel movements are better, my mental health is better when I'm moving, not because like I want to look a certain way. And so I think like that was a big part of junior year. And I'll say, like, I think since freshman year, since high school, every year I've seen improvement. So like that is so awesome.
Huge. But
also it hasn't gone away necessarily. It's like been new iterations, different symptoms. And like this past year, like big D word, lots of diarrhea issues. Like I don't need to get into it, but it's just like, and that's so humbling too, because it's like so hard to be like in public, uncomfortable, like not really feeling like you have control of your own body, like whatever. And one of my roommate's dads is a physician who's an internist, so he just specializes on like anything internal. And so over Christmas break, I went to her dead ball, and he like did all these tests on me, which was so kind. I think we did like a hormone test, we did blood test, urine test, like pretty much everything you could do in the doctor's office. And he just wanted to make sure, like, as far as he could, like, what can we cross out that's not the issue. And everything came back feeling normal, which was super awesome, and then super frustrating.
So frustrating. Clearly you were not okay.
Yes.
But there's no answer.
Right. And so he's still been really helpful. I think his advice to me was like, up your fiber, you know, and like these are all very true things. But also he lives in Corpus Christi, so it was hard to like continue that every day. And so I ended up talking to one of my dad's friends, Eric, who is a chiropractor who specializes in gut health. He has all the things, look him up, he's awesome. But he's based out of St. Louis, so most of our consultations have been like on the phone. But essentially I ended up calling him this summer because I was just kind of like, I've done all these things, but I also feel like there's so much noise in the health and wellness area, which is awesome. Like I'm so grateful people are talking about it. However, I think it's sometimes super overwhelming because it's like, hey, do this, try this supplement, this diet plan, like, oh my gosh. And so kind of wanted to just like, hey, can I do one thing for a little bit of time and really just see like what's working? So we kind of called and I gave him this basically rundown I just gave you guys, and he was said, so it really sounds like you have leaky gut, and I don't think you've been treated for that, and I don't think you've tried something long enough to really see what's working. So like we're gonna try for 90 days to do one thing, and if you're not feeling better by 60, like something's up.
Okay.
And the 90 is really just like set it in stone. I was like, okay, cool. And I was telling Shay this, but the verbiage he used was so cool, was like treating my stomach like a injured ankle, like sprained ankle. And so one of the things, so I'll give you kind of the key points that I'm doing right now. This is part of this. I think this is around 4th of July, so we're kind of in it now. But was intermittent fasting. So to the sprained ankle point of view, he was just saying your body takes a lot of energy to digest all these things. And so if you can give it a break to not do that all the time, you might have more of your energy back. Let's try that. And I was like, okay. Upping my red meat because it helps you build that stomach acid. Same with like taking apple cider vinegar.
So good for you in the morning.
So horrible though.
Empty stomach. You gotta put it in. How do you drink it?
Well, here's the thing. I had to start taking shots of it because I tried to put it in my lemon water and honey.
That's
and
what
like
I
make
did.
It, no, I don't want to enjoy. I don't want to sit on it for 30
it.
minutes. It tastes so bad. I'd rather just like knock it out. But that's just me.
I dilute it major with water and lemon.
Yeah. So there's lots of ways. There's also pills that I can like take out with me and stuff. So. But anyway, so upping my stomach acid, he's like, it seems like you're deficient in a lot of the stomach acid needed for digesting, and also enzymes. So I've been taking, I think it was a plant enzyme, and then this one called Ox Biosalt. I can read you a list before I eat or like after if I forget, to help me digest. So it was really focused on my digestion and getting that back in order to like have more regular bowel movements. And I have seen a lot of changes, I think, just in my mental clarity and my energy, and I think so many things have been better. I think I still struggle with a lot of like uncomfortability with that, and there hasn't been a ton of consistency in my bowel movements yet, but it's working that way. Like I can definitely see like the progression. It's just, I think something that's so hard with gut health is like it is a slow roll, and you have to have so much grace and patience for yourself. So kind of evaluating that's like what we're doing right now. I signed up to run a full marathon with my sister, which was like wild and
cute.
That's so wild. I would have never done it had it not been for her. But I was like, hey, if I'm ever gonna do this in the world, probably do it when I'm accountable to someone I love, you know. And since then have stepped back to do the half. Still awesome.
Still so
supporting
crazy.
my half girls. But I just realized running can also be really inflammatory and really hard on your stomach. And so I was willing, you know, I'm not drinking, I didn't drink coffee for the last week. So once again, like I'm trying these new things, just being like, hey, these aren't the issues, but what could be adding to it that's making it worse? And am I willing to give that up for my health? You know, such a hard thing to do.
So hard.
So hard. I love coffee. Like I love it, but I've been really into matcha. So good. But so that I'm doing the half now. And then I think after my running plan, something I'm really interested about, which I obviously am going to consult my 2 best friends, is like cycle syncing. Because I think that is with foods to support your cycle. I have such bad periods, like cramps like you wouldn't believe in your life. Like had to skip class, borderline
and
passing
that's
out.
not normal.
No, right. I was reading about that lately. How just
normal.
Like unnormal that is, and I think it's so crazy because I was even talking to someone recently, and like it is normalized that like your period hurts.
Not
because
painful.
So many of our periods are super painful, and it's like it's not supposed to be at all.
Do you know how regular it is for me to be able to be like, to comfortably ask any girl, do you have Advil or Midol? Because it's expected that you have period cramps.
And it is not supposed to be painful. You're supposed to be like in discomfort the first 2 days, like a little cramps, but it should not be debilitating. Like you should not have to lay in bed or be thrown out.
And or like sobbing. Like it's so bad. So hopefully, like I think aligning my food and my movement with those things, I think that's probably like next on my docket, but also trying to not get swept up in the like, I'm doing 8 things at one time.
It's so overwhelming. Life goes on. Like you gotta move on with life, and we're busy, and we gotta do school, and being consumed by constantly worrying about the meals and when you're getting in this workout. Like it's a lot. And the stress doesn't help either. So
it's super hard. So I don't know. That's kind of in a nutshell what I'm up to right now and like how I got there. And it's been really tough, but really cool. And I think it's opened up so many more conversations with people that are struggling that I don't think are normalized like to talk about, and so I think that's been like such a gift in college for sure.
Yeah, getting to like relate to people, definitely, especially like I totally relate with what you were saying earlier and how you feel like you're the only one and you feel like this is either normal or like why is this happening, and so being able to like open up and have conversations about it is huge, and it like creates friendships. Like you and Sis had something to relate on. You were like thought you were the only ones, and now boom, this friendship is formed, and so that's really like why we started the podcast, and really just wanted to like have these conversations and get word out there and inform people that it doesn't have to be this way, and there are changes you can make to your life to make it better, and also like you're not alone, and like there are solutions if you work toward them.
And also like noting also that everyone's body's different. And like if you hear, you know, Shayna's story, Cicely's story, my story, like the way that we've approached it, the experiences we've had are different. And I think it's cool because we can relate to each other in that, but we don't need to feel this pressure to like have the same journey, right? Like something that works for Shayna like might not work for me, and that's okay. But it's also like giving yourself a chance to figure that out. It's like so important.
And I think that's one of the most frustrating things about like the medical industry in America. Again, could go on a whole nother tangent about that.
Oh my gosh.
But it's like you have a stomach ache. These are the only two solutions. And like there's, you know, millions of people here in the world, in America, and it's like you have to follow this regimen. But our bodies are different. We need different things. And that's really what I've loved about the functional medicine space, where the doctors are really looking at you as an individual and your case and what could be best for you.
Also like taking things into account, like your lifestyle, like what do you prioritize? Like I don't know, it'll be different for someone who like loves to move all the time or like doesn't. Like it's different for someone who's like spending 8 hours a day studying and like super using their brains, and people who don't do that, you know? So like it's so unique. And I think that's like such a testament to like our own uniqueness. Like it's so awesome.
And I think it goes back to like what are you kind of willing to give up, and like to an extent like you were saying, like you love coffee but you're like trying to cut that out. Like to an extent it's so hard because it's like you also want to heal your mental health and help with that. And so it's like that you don't want to cut out all these things that make you super happy, but you also want to find that balance, which we've talked about before, just like giving yourself grace with it and finding that good balance of like, I love to do this, but I also know that this isn't the best for me. And Cailyr, I feel like you're someone that's so great about that, and you're always good at like giving yourself grace and reminding the people around you to give themselves grace on their journeys, because like you said, like everyone's journey is different, everyone's unique, everyone needs different things.
Well, I also think just like kind of like you were saying, Shay, but like the stress, like beating yourself up about it, like will make it worse.
It doesn't help.
It will. And like you're gonna slip up, like you're gonna eat something that hurts your stomach, and maybe it was worth it, maybe it wasn't. But like I say this all the time, like if I died tomorrow and I thought about like all the awesome ice cream dates that I had with my friends, I wouldn't regret it for a second. Because it's like it's finding like the healthy compromise, right? Like am I still gonna go do that, but how am I gonna do that? Am I gonna try to suggest to my friends that we go somewhere that has options that I can have, or am I gonna compromise and go somewhere I can't and then be in really a lot of pain, you know? So it's like don't completely cut yourself off from all the joys of life. Like that's the purpose of living, but also, you know, find a way to do that supports your goals, you know? And so I think that's why it's so beautiful, like talking about it and also having friends that share that with you, because I mean now our friend group always goes places that the three of us can go whether they like it or not. So that's awesome.
Exactly. Oh no, that's so true. And just why I love talking to you so much about it, Cailyr, because like your perspective on health as well as life is just like so amazing and so centered around like joy and the Lord and God, and so it's just so cool to like be your friend and get to like sadly share in these issues that we have.
It's so unfortunate, but I'm also so grateful.
But so grateful for it, and I really know that like whatever is happening right now, like the Lord is working in it, and so we will be where we need to be one day, and it will get better, and we're gonna help people along the way.
I mean, even you guys using your pain, I think, for something as cool as this, and like reaching people who once again are probably feeling the same way, like it's so cool and so cool to be a part of. So thanks for having me.
Well, thanks so much for coming on today. I hope you guys all enjoyed hearing Cailyr's story and just getting to talk some with her.
It was so awesome having you on. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing and coming on.
Yeah, of course. Anytime. Love y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.